why do so many incredibly intelligent, genuinely hardworking people still fail to reach their biggest goals in life while, a select few seem to just effortlessly skyrocket to the top?
Right. It's a huge question.
It is. And that is exactly the mission of today's deep dive. We're unpacking a huge stack of sources detailing the psychology of extreme success to really understand this billionaire mindset.
Yeah, and right up front, I want to clarify what this deep dive is definitely not about.
Good idea.
Because, it's not about forcing yourself to wake up at 4 a.m. every single day.
Thankfully.
Right. And we're not talking about relying on pure luck or endorsing some toxic hustle culture. Now, obviously, we have to acknowledge that systemic privilege absolutely exists. But the focus today, based on the sources, is on 7 specific mental shifts.
7 shifts, okay.
Yeah. It's a fundamentally different way these individuals process reality.
Which is why this is so completely relevant to you listening right now. You don't need $1 billion in your bank account today to use this. Adopting even just 2 of these mental operating system upgrades can completely change your trajectory.
Oh, absolutely.
So let's just get right into it with the first theme, redefining risk and time. Mindset number 1 is asymmetric risk. Now, I always assumed, and I think a lot of people do, that extreme success meant you had to take wild, bet the farm risks.
Like a total gambler mentality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You look at names from our sources like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, and it just seems like they threw all their chips on red and won.
Right. But that is actually a massive misconception. If you look at the data, billionaires actually hate risk.
Right, really? They hate it.
They despise it. Traditional risk, anyway.
Yeah.
What they're actually hunting for is what's called asymmetric risk.
Okay. Asymmetric risk. Break that down.
So these are scenarios where the downside is strictly limited, like you know exactly what you could lose, but the upside is virtually infinite.
Ah, I see.
Like, let's say you spend $5,000 starting a side hustle. The absolute worst case scenario, you lose that $5,000. The downside is capped right there.
Right. It hurts, but it doesn't bankrupt you.
Exactly. But the upside, that side hustle could theoretically become a $50 million company. They're never risking everything. They're just making very calculated asymmetric bets.
Okay, that makes so much sense. So if you hit that big upside, how do you manage it? Well, you buy time. Which brings us to mindset number 2, the time billionaire. And here's where it gets really interesting, because a billionaire would happily trade all their wealth just to be 20 years old again.
In a heartbeat. Time is the ultimate unrenewable resource.
Right. But wait, I have to push back here for a second on the whole delegation thing the sources talk about. Isn't aggressive delegation just wasting money? Like, why pay someone else $20 an hour when you can easily do it yourself and just save that money?
I get that. But you have to look at the math of what the sources call your zone of genius.
Okay, the math.
Yeah. Say you earn $1,000 an hour doing what you do best. If you spend your time on a $20 an hour task, you are effectively becoming time poor. You're losing money.
Wow, when you put it like that.
Right. The ultra successful, they don't save money to buy things. They spend money to buy time.
Because they can use that time to make more high-level decisions.
Exactly. Every hour you buy back is an hour you can invest in asymmetric risks.
That is a huge shift in perspective, which flows perfectly into our second big theme from the deep dive, patience and ultimate responsibility. Mindset number 3 is delayed gratification.
Oh man, this is basically the famous marshmallow test on steroids.
Right, not eating the marshmallows so you get 2 later.
Yeah, but on a massive scale. Instead of checking their crypto wallets every 5 minutes or chasing the newest get-rich-quick scheme, extreme success operates in these long 10-year cycles.
10 years. That takes so much discipline.
It really does. The sources actually quote Jeff Bezos on this. He pointed out that if his company has a great quarter today, people congratulate him for his recent work. But he says, no, that good quarter is actually the result of work done 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, it's just the power of compound interest, but applied to your entire life.
Okay, but if you're planning that far ahead, things are going to go wrong. Which brings us to mindset number 4, extreme ownership. And okay, let's unpack this because
this one is tough.
It is. Taking ownership sounds great on a motivational poster. But what if something completely outside your control happens? Like a sudden economic crash or a global pandemic. How can they seriously not blame the economy when the economy actually crashes?
Right. And what's fascinating here is that extreme ownership is the exact opposite of a victim mentality.
Okay, but it's not their fault.
True, it's not their fault. but it is their responsibility. If a product fails during a recession, they don't say, oh, well, the market tanked. They ask, how did I fail to predict this? Why wasn't my business model resilient enough?
Oh, wow. So they're looking for their own blind spots.
Exactly. Because by blaming outside forces, you actually give up your power to fix the situation.
You're just a passenger at that point.
Right. Shifting your brain from, why is this happening to me, to, how do I solve this? That is what actually puts you back in control.
That is heavy, but honestly so empowering.
It really is.
So once you're in control of your time and you're taking ownership, you can move to theme number 3, scaling impact and building the right environment. Mindset number 5 is problem scaling.
Yeah, this changes everything about how you view income.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because you don't get rich just by working hard. There are plenty of people working exhausting hours who are completely broke.
Absolutely.
The sources make it clear. You get rich by solving a problem for 1 million or even 1 billion people. Money is literally simply a receipt for the value you provided.
A receipt for value. I love that phrasing. And mindset number 6, the curated circle, connects directly to this ability to scale.
Because you can't scale alone.
You really can't. We've all heard that saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Right.
Well, billionaires ruthlessly protect their inner circle. They actively seek out value creators, people who push them to grow.
And they avoid the alternative.
Completely. They completely cut out value extractors. Anyone who just drains energy, complains constantly, or lives in that victim mindset we just talked about.
It sounds a little harsh, but I guess when you're operating at that level, you literally can't afford the emotional drain.
You can't. Your environment dictates your baseline.
Okay, so you've taken the risks, you've curated your circle, you're trying to scale, and then you fail, which happens. So mindset number 7 is, failure is data.
This is maybe my favorite one from the whole deep dive.
Me too.
Yeah.
Most people view failure as a giant stop sign, a sign that they're just not meant to do it. But this billionaire mindset views it as a laboratory experiment.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, the sources use the Thomas Edison light bulb analogy, which is just perfect.
The 10,000 tries.
Exactly. He didn't fail 10,000 times. He just found 10,000 ways it didn't work.
Right.
Persistence is the absolute secret sauce here. Those so-called failures merely eliminate what doesn't work, which mathematically gets you closer to what does work. They take all the emotion out of it.
It's just neutral data. Okay, that variable didn't work. Adjust and try again.
Precisely.
So let's pull all of this together. We've gone through a lot of ground today.
We really have.
The core lesson here from all our sources is that achieving massive outlier success isn't about external posturing or buying flashy things.
Not at all. It's entirely an internal mental framework.
Right. It's those 7 shifts. We're talking about hunting for asymmetric risk, aggressively buying back your time so you stay in your zone of genius.
Playing the decades-long game of delayed gratification.
Taking extreme ownership over every single outcome.
Scaling the problems you solve so you get more of those receipts for value.
Exactly. And curating a tight circle of value creators while finally stripping all the emotion out of failure so it just becomes actionable data.
When you stack all 7 of those up, it's basically an unstoppable operating system.
It really is. It's not about having the money yet. It's about having the mindset now.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, to wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to chew on.
Oh, I like where this is going.
If failure is truly just neutral data, what experiment in your own life are you avoiding right now simply because you're afraid of the result?
That is such a good question. I'd also encourage you to think about which of these 7 mindsets is the hardest for you to actually implement. Is it delegating tasks?
Yeah.
Taking extreme ownership? Or maybe just waiting for that delayed gratification?
Honestly, delayed gratification is a killer for me. But whatever it is for you, drop a comment with the word mindset if you are committing to upgrading your mental operating system this week.
Take that first step.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you on the next one.